Long ago, there was a young man named Joseph. Joseph was one of 12 brothers, living in a large, busy family. His father Jacob loved all his sons, but Joseph held a special place in his heart. Joseph was born when Jacob was older, and because of that, Jacob treated him differently. One day, Jacob gave Joseph a beautiful, colorful coat. It wasn't just clothing, it was a symbol. It showed that Joseph was favored. And Joseph's brothers noticed. Every time Joseph wore that coat, it reminded them that their father loved him more. Jealousy began to grow, quietly at first, but steadily. To make things worse, Joseph had dreams, big, strange dreams. In one dream, Joseph and his brothers were gathering grain in a field. Suddenly, Joseph's bundle stood up tall, while his brothers' bundles bowed down to it. In another dream, the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed down to Joseph. Joseph shared these dreams with his family, but instead of excitement, they stirred anger. His brothers asked, "Do you really think you'll rule over us?" And even his father wondered about these dreams. Joseph didn't realize it yet, but his words were fueling a fire. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers, who were tending sheep far from home. Joseph put on his special coat and began the journey. When his brothers saw him coming from a distance, they recognized him immediately, and not with joy. "Here comes the dreamer," they said to one another. Their jealousy had turned into something darker. They made a plan. At first, some of the brothers wanted to kill Joseph, but one brother, Reuben, stepped in and suggested they throw him into a pit instead, hoping to rescue him later. So when Joseph arrived, his brothers grabbed him, ripped off his colorful coat, and threw him into an empty pit in the ground. Joseph cried out, confused and terrified. But his brothers sat down to eat, acting as if nothing had happened. Then they saw a group of traders passing by on their way to Egypt. Another brother, Judah, had an idea. "Let's not kill him," he said. "Let's sell him instead." And so they did. Joseph was pulled out of the pit and sold as a slave for silver. The traders took him away, far from home, far from his father, and far from everything he knew. To cover up what they had done, the brothers took Joseph's coat, covered it in animal blood, and showed it to their father. Jacob believed Joseph had been killed by a wild animal. He was heartbroken, and Joseph, alone, betrayed, and afraid, was carried into a future he never imagined. This story is painful, but it carries powerful lessons. Joseph didn't do anything to deserve this betrayal. His brothers allowed jealousy and resentment to control their actions. But even in this dark moment, Joseph's story wasn't over. What looked like the end was actually the beginning of something greater. God was still at work, quietly, patiently, turning betrayal into purpose and suffering into a plan. The story of Joseph reminds us that favor can attract jealousy, dreams can create misunderstanding, and betrayal often comes from those closest to us. But it also reminds us of something hopeful. Even when people fail us, even when life takes an unfair turn, God is still writing the story. Joseph's journey didn't end in the pit. It didn't end in slavery, and neither do our stories.
Thank you so much for following along. We'd truly appreciate if you'd hit that like button. If you're ready to learn more about the stories of the Bible, subscribe to the Sacred Storybox and come along with us as we explore the greatest book known to mankind.